Hey everyone, and welcome back to the EMT Spot's Blood Pressure Podcast. I'm Samuel Harrison, and with me today is the fantastic Olivia Harper. Today, we're going to be looking into a question we get asked pretty often. Does high blood pressure make you tired? You know, that feeling of just wanting to curl up and take a nap, even when you've had plenty of sleep.
It's a great question, and you're definitely not the only one who feels that way. The connection between high blood pressure and fatigue is real, but it's not always so straightforward. It's kind of like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces don't always fit neatly together.
Okay, so let's try to piece this puzzle together. What are some of the reasons why someone with high blood pressure might always be tired?
Well, sometimes the fatigue is a clue that something more serious is going on, something related to the hypertension. It's like your body's sending you a signal saying, hey, pay attention. Something's not quite right here.
That's a great way to put it. So it's not just that high blood pressure directly makes you tired, but it could be a symptom of another underlying issue.
Exactly. High blood pressure is a stressor on your body, and over time, that stress can lead to wear and tear. That's where the fatigue comes in.
Okay, so what are some of the potential culprits behind this fatigue?
One possibility is kidney disease. You know your kidneys are constantly working to clean your blood, like the body's filtration system, but high blood pressure puts extra pressure on those filters.
Making their job even harder.
Exactly. And if they can't keep up, toxins can start to build up in the body. And one of the effects of that buildup is fatigue. It's like your body's running low on fuel because the filters aren't working right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Kidney disease is one suspect on our list. What else should we look out for?
Another common one is coronary heart disease or coronary artery disease. This one's all about the arteries that supply blood to your heart.
Right, coronary artery disease. That's the buildup of plaque in the arteries, right?
Okay. Exactly. High blood pressure can damage the artery walls, which makes them more likely to have that plaque buildup, like roughing up the inside of a pipe. Makes it more likely for things to get stuck. And as those arteries narrow, it becomes harder for blood to flow through, which can lead to fatigue.
So the heart has to work harder to pump blood, and that can make you feel tired.
Exactly. But it's not just fatigue. You might also experience chest pain, arm pain, irregular heartbeat, and even shortness of breath.
Wow, that's a lot of symptoms. So we've got kidney disease, coronary artery disease. Is there anything else that could be contributing to this feeling of tiredness?
Absolutely. Another possibility is an enlarged heart, which can sometimes lead to heart failure. Think of your heart as a pump. When you have high blood pressure, that pump has to work harder to push blood through those narrowed arteries.
So it's like trying to force water through a smaller hose. It takes way more effort.
Exactly. And over time, all that extra effort makes the heart muscle enlarge. It's like any other muscle. The more you work it, the bigger it gets. But in this case, a bigger heart isn't actually a good thing.
Why not? I always thought a strong heart was a good thing.
It is, but an enlarged heart doesn't pump as efficiently. Like having a big engine that's not running smoothly. That inefficiency can lead to heart failure, where your heart struggles to keep up with the demands of your body.
So it's not just about the size of the heart, it's about how well it's functioning.
Exactly. And along with fatigue, you might also experience shortness of breath, an irregular heartbeat, swelling in your legs, and even dizziness.
Okay, so we're starting to see a pattern here. High blood pressure puts stress on different organs, and that stress can cause fatigue, among other symptoms. We've talked about the kidneys, the heart. What other organs could be affected?
Well, there's something called peripheral artery disease, or PA. You might not have heard of this one, but it's essentially the same thing we've been talking about, narrowed arteries. But it happens in other parts of the body, like your legs, head, and stomach.
So like coronary artery disease,
Yeah.
but happening in those other areas.
You got it. And get this, about 33 to 35% of people with PAD also have high blood pressure. That's a pretty strong connection.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that common. So if someone has high blood pressure and is feeling fatigued, it's definitely worth checking for PAD as well.
Absolutely. And that fatigue often comes with numbness and pain in the legs and feet, especially when walking.
Okay, so we've got a lot to think about already. Kidney disease, coronary artery disease, enlarged heart, and now peripheral artery disease. Are we missing anything else?
We're not done yet. There's still pulmonary artery hypertension to consider. This one's a bit different. It involves high blood pressure in the vessels that connect your heart to your lungs.
So with all these other conditions, we've been talking about arteries carrying blood throughout the body. But pulmonary hypertension specifically affects the arteries going to the lungs.
Exactly. And just like with the other conditions, pulmonary hypertension can cause fatigue, along with chest pain and lightheadedness.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. It's clear that high blood pressure and fatigue have a pretty complex link.
Definitely. But there's one more thing we need to talk about. And it might seem a bit surprising at first.
Oh, what's that?
Sleep.
Sleep. What does sleep have to do with high blood pressure and fatigue?
Well, it turns out they're all connected. Lack of sleep can actually make you more likely to develop high blood pressure.
So it's not just that high blood pressure can mess with your sleep, but poor sleep can also worsen your blood pressure. It's like a vicious cycle.
Exactly. And of course, if you're not sleeping well, you're going to be tired, regardless of blood pressure. But the real problem is that chronic sleep deprivation, less than 5 hours of sleep a night, can lead to a bunch of other problems, like mood swings and memory issues.
So we're talking about a real impact on your overall health and well-being, not just feeling groggy in the morning.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another important point: medications.
Oh, right. Medications. That adds another layer of complexity.
It does. Some medications for high blood pressure, particularly beta blockers, can actually list fatigue as a side effect.
So if someone is on medication for high blood pressure and is feeling tired, they should talk to their doctor about whether the medication could be the problem.
It's always a good idea to have that conversation. It might be as simple as changing the dosage or switching to a different medication.
Okay, so we've uncovered a whole web of connections. High blood pressure can lead to fatigue directly, but it can also be a sign of other conditions. And medications can also play a role.
It's definitely a complex issue. But the important thing is, if you're experiencing fatigue, especially if you have high blood pressure, talk to your doctor.
So that's our first takeaway. Don't ignore persistent fatigue. Always better to be safe than sorry. But what about those of us who might be feeling overwhelmed by all this information? What can we do to start addressing this fatigue?
It's completely understandable to feel overwhelmed. But the good news is that there are things you can do, things to take control of your health, and maybe even boost your energy levels.
That's good to hear. So where do we even start? We've uncovered so many potential factors.
The first step, as always, is to talk to your doctor. They can help you figure out what's causing the fatigue, and then they can recommend what to do about it.
Right, that's the first step. Talk to your doctor. But let's say the doctor has ruled out any serious underlying conditions. Are there any lifestyle changes that might help combat fatigue?
Absolutely. And this is where things get empowering. You have a lot more control over your energy levels than you might think. One of the biggest things is exercise.
Exercise. But doesn't exercise make you more tired? I mean, when I'm exhausted, the last thing I want to do is go to the gym.
I know, it seems counterintuitive, but trust me on this, regular physical activity can actually give you more energy over time. When you exercise, your body releases endorphins. Endorphins have mood-boosting effects.
So it's not just about building muscle or losing weight. Exercise can actually make you feel more energized.
Exactly, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Even moderate exercise can make a difference, like brisk walking, swimming, or dancing.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. What about diet? Does that play a role in managing fatigue?
Definitely. A healthy diet is like giving your body the right fuel so it can run properly. Make sure you're eating fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. And stay hydrated. Water is essential for fighting fatigue.
That's good advice for everyone. But I imagine it's especially important for people with high blood pressure.
You're right. And on top of those general healthy eating tips, it's important to watch your salt intake if you have high blood pressure. Too much salt makes your body hold on to water, which puts strain on your heart, and that can contribute to fatigue.
So we've got exercise and diet. What about sleep? We talked about how not getting enough sleep can worsen high blood pressure, and that can contribute to fatigue. Are there any tips for getting a better night's sleep?
This is a big one, and it's something so many of us struggle with. One of the most important things is to have a regular sleep schedule and stick to it as much as possible, even on weekends.
Easier said than done.
I know, but it really does make a difference. Your body needs consistency, and when you're always changing your sleep schedule, it messes everything up.
That makes sense. So consistency is key. What else can we do?
Having a relaxing bedtime routine can help. It signals to your body that it's time to wind down. Maybe take a warm bath, read a book, or listen to calming music. Anything to help you de-stress and relax.
Okay, those are all great tips. I'm going to try to do those. What about the sleep environment itself? Does that matter?
Absolutely. Your bedroom should be dark, quiet, and cool, and try to stay away from screens for at least an hour before bed. The blue light from phones and computers can actually stop your body from making melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that helps you sleep.
I've heard that before, but I'm definitely guilty of scrolling on my phone right before bed. It's so hard to resist.
I know, it's a tough habit to break, but your sleep will thank you for it.
Okay, so we've got exercise, diet, and sleep. Anything else we could do to tackle fatigue?
We've talked a lot about the physical side of fatigue, but our mental and emotional health also play a big role.
Right, mind and body are connected.
Exactly. Stress uses a lot of energy. When you're constantly stressed, your body is in fight or flight mode, which is really tiring. So finding healthy ways to manage stress is important.
So things like meditation, yoga, spending time in nature.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Even taking a few minutes each day to breathe deeply and clear your mind can help.
It sounds like a holistic approach to managing fatigue. It's not just about addressing the physical symptoms, but also taking care of our mental and emotional well-being.
You got it. It's about treating the whole person, not just the disease.
I love that. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the potential causes of fatigue to the lifestyle changes that can help us get our energy back. What are some key takeaways for our listeners?
First of all, remember that fatigue can be a sign of something more serious, especially with high blood pressure. So talk to your doctor if you're experiencing fatigue.
Always better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly. And remember that you can take control of your health by making lifestyle changes, like exercising regularly, eating a healthy diet, managing stress, and getting enough sleep. You can improve your overall well-being and potentially reduce fatigue.
I think that's a great message to end on. You have the power to take control of your health. Don't underestimate the impact of lifestyle changes.
Absolutely. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Every step you take towards a healthier lifestyle is a step in the right direction.
Well said. It's all about those small steps and building healthy habits over time.
Exactly. And you don't have to do it alone. Your doctor is there to support you every step of the way.
That's right. Don't be afraid to ask them questions. Share your concerns. And work together to find what works for you.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about high blood pressure and fatigue.
We definitely went deep today.
So if you're feeling tired and have high blood pressure, remember, talk to your doctor. It could be a sign of something more serious. And we know early detection is key.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the changes you can make in your own life. Exercise, a healthy diet, managing stress, getting enough sleep. Those all make a huge difference in how you feel.
It's about treating the whole person, like you said before.
That's right. And remember, the more you know about how your body works and how high blood pressure affects it, the better you can take charge of your own health.
Absolutely. That's what we're all about here at the TheEMTSpot's Blood Pressure Podcast. I want to thank Olivia for being here today and sharing all her amazing insights.
It was my pleasure. I always learn so much from these conversations. I hope our listeners find them helpful too.
And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. We hope you found this episode helpful and maybe even empowering. If you did, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this podcast with anyone who might benefit. We'll be back soon with more tips and insights to help you manage your blood pressure and live a healthier and happier life. Until then, stay well, everyone,